Don't ever include me winking. I don't know if that's cute or not. Whatever. One of the things I like to do during every single year is try to build in as many restarts or opportunities for restarts as I can. Because obviously New Year's Day, you're brimming with energy, you have a lot of feelings about what kind of goals and systems and planners and tools you're going to be using and setting up throughout the year, but a lot of times you get a few months on and it can sort of feel dated or stagnant, and you don't always have those automatic resets built in like you do on the start of the new year. So one way to do that is with quarterly planning, and this is the first year that I am trying quarterly planning in my notebooks. I am using the Sterling Ink Common Planner, as you guys know, and it has quarterly planning sort of built in. So with this video, I'm going to take you through what I'm doing to reset my planner and reset my life for quarter 2 starting in April. By the way, if you are new here, my name is Rachel and I do all sorts of planner and stationery stuff here on the YouTubes. Thank you so much for clicking on this video. I think it's going to be a fun one and you're going to get to experience baby's first quarterly planning with me, and that's going to be great for everyone. So step 1 for my quarterly review is going to be going through each spread or type of spread in my planner and sort of evaluating how I've been using it, and then writing out what I actually want to be doing going forward. So I'm going to do that in part on the paper and on the computer screen. So I will have like a computer screen set up somewhere on the screen where you can sort of see what I'm typing as well. Basically, I'm going to write down all of the different spreads in my planner. So 2023 year at a glance. What do I want to be doing with this? So the year at a glance is going to be nothing. I'm not going to be doing anything with that. Then there's the blank spread. So blank spread. I'm also going to be doing nothing with that. That's fine. Goals spread, already did, already completed. And then this is the tough part. So the quarterly spread. I'm feeling like I need to track stuff in the year at a glance section. And honestly, what I want to be tracking is my sleep, my period, my weight, my mood, and my energy. If that sounds like a lot to you, don't freak out. I have a plan. Basically, I really want to see how these things are correlated across a 3-month span, because this is like, let me go to a blank one. This is a lot of data to have, right? About your body. And I just recently found a good system for tracking my sleep, my period, my weight, my mood, and my energy on my phone. So one of the things I came into 2023 thinking was like, I am not going to do any trackers that are just purely paper based. I'm going to also have a phone copy or a phone backup, and my phone's actually going to be the main place that I catalog that data. Now, the apps that I use to track those different things, it's really hard to see them correlated side by side. It's just really hard to see them next to each other. So what I want to do here is chart them all on the same graph, and then that way I will be able to see them next to each other, and I will be able to spot those patterns. So that's in the year at a glance. So let me just rewrite this. Glance, we're going to write health tracker. Boom, sleep, period, mood, weight, energy. Okay. Priorities section and monthly sections. I do like in the monthly sections doing manifestations and accomplishments. I really, really, really want to get a consistent place like in my planner to write down my accomplishments, because I used to do that so often, and I was sort of doing that in, I did that in January. I experimented with new methods of working out, got back on routines, got back into my daily tarot draws. That was huge. And then I started writing poetry again, which was also huge for me. Because sometimes like your priorities or your manifestations, they're not always what you accomplish. Like sometimes the things you manifest or you want to be working on don't actually come to fruition until much later. And an accomplishment might be just like started this project, or got the ball rolling on this, or sometimes really small things are an accomplishments. Like I have made accomplishments lists before where I've just written out got out of bed and that's my accomplishment. So if April goes really bad, or maybe May goes really bad, and my accomplishments start being things like showering every day, I will also write that down, even though that has nothing to do with my goals. So I think the two lists can work in tandem. So manifestations and accomplishments. Okay, and then we look at the monthly sections. So also, if you want a full flip through of this planner and what has been working for me and not working for me, please stay tuned for next week. Before I filmed this, I did just do like a quick flip through of what my quarter 1 version of this planner looked like, and it was really fun, and that will be coming out next week. So stay tuned for that, stay subscribed for that. But basically, like, what I did in the monthly sections here like really varied, and one thing that was not working was like back planning, and also like writing out my agenda items on this page didn't really work. So I think what I need to do is start like forward planning, but in kind of a unique way. So instead of forward planning like St. Patrick's Day is on Friday, I know St. Patrick's Day is on Friday. Like, I have a calendar, I have a phone, I know what day the 17th is. Instead of planning that kind of stuff, what I really need to be doing in this section is saying like, okay, St. Patrick's Day is on Friday. I want to have a party on that day for St. Patrick's Day. How do I need to prepare in the following days? And then instead of just writing St. Patrick's Day, on the 15th, I'll write go grocery shopping for St. Patrick's Day. I'm going to write that out, monthly spread, pre-planning. And I want to be pre-planning my like birthdays / gifts, parties / personal engagements. Also like moon phases / auspicious days, because I do a lot of spiritual work around those types of times, so I really want to plan those out. Maybe take days off work. Ooh, also time off work or potential time off work. What needs to get done on any given day? That's not right. What needs to get done on any given monthly task list? And then eventually I'd like to know enough about like my menstrual cycle to be able to plan around different phases of menses. Cute way to frame that. But yeah, I'd love to know enough about like when I'm entering my luteal phase and shit to be able to like look at a calendar and say like, okay, second week of March, I'm gonna be knocked flat on my back because that's the week of my period or the week before my period or whatever. I do not know that much about my cycle yet. It's something that I'm learning about, so eventually I would really like that to happen. But what I'm not gonna do here is like a bunch of crazy decoration. Honestly, guys, I'm probably not gonna be doing my distraction method in my monthly anymore, which is really quite crazy, actually. Really quite insane, because I just don't have the muscle memory of going back to this and doing that. And instead, I want to be doing that in my weekly section. Whew, I want to be doing that in my weekly, which is going to be hard, but it's going to be fine. So I'm going to see how that goes. I think that's all for the monthly section right now. I'm like, tracker? Like, do I need any trackers? But really, I think the main like method of tracking that I'm going to be doing is just in this section. Okay, at this point in the video, I just do want to pause and thank our sponsor, which is Skillshare. You guys might know Skillshare for their photography, video editing, illustration courses, but there are a lot of productivity and career-oriented courses on there as well. And we are rounding out Q1, as you know from this video, and Q2 is going to be the perfect time to reevaluate everything you learned in Q1, re-up your goals, reassure yourself that you're headed in the right direction, or start something new. And Skillshare is a great place to go for that. I first started using Skillshare several years ago, but lately I have been really enjoying Emma Gannon's class, Discovering Success: 7 Exercises to Uncover Your Purpose, Passion, and Path. Emma has custom worksheets and exercises to help you redefine success in a way that's fulfilling for you and your life. And I'm learning how my dream life and my regular life can become one, which is really exciting and definitely something I wanted to do this year. So I definitely recommend that course, but there are thousands and thousands of others. If you have a goal, big or small, and are looking for a way to get started, Skillshare can definitely help, and it's totally free for you as a viewer of my channel. The first 1,000 people to use the link in my description box down below will get a 1-month free trial of Skillshare. Thank you so much to Skillshare for sponsoring this video, and now we're gonna get back to the Q2 planning. Okay, so that's what I want to do in the monthly section. Now let's get to the weekly section. So this is the week that I'm on right now, and what I think is working about this section is that I am basically like, I'm having a lot of fun with it, and I have a lot of things to do on this weekly section. So what I like is the decorative element. I like lightly decorating my weeklies. You guys know that I'm usually function over form, but I have enough experience in this system by now to be working on my stuff, but to be decorating around my stuff, basically. So in the weekly spread, what I want to be doing is blocking off events
according to my hours, to the hourly layout. Blocking off events according to the hourly layout. That's what I'm doing now. Work, filming, blah, 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 blah. And then I want to have sticky note substitutions for flexible times. I also want to be blocking off other protected time. So other protected time to me means like personal, freeform, art time, you know, stuff that is not like directly scheduled in, but that I need to get done, that I may need to get done at any given time. So I have like chores in there and stuff too. I also want to be tracking my intermittent fasting, which I'm still doing. I also do want to keep up with weekly task lists on sidebar. Okay, I think that's good for now. I think I can do away with my sleep tracker on the sidebar, even though it looks so cute. I just will be tracking that in a different way. So I can do it without it. Oh, and then activity log. So this is going to be very important for things like workouts, distractions, what actually happened, how long things actually took. So yeah, so you can see here I'm sort of doing things like meetings all morning, spent all morning on Instagram, very distracted, working on research, like that kind of stuff is very useful, and I'm doing that a lot more. I just want to keep doing that basically. So logging when I go to lunch instead of just leaving it totally empty, making sure that I'm putting in if I was distracted. Like this day I put in a distraction, which was like obviously a personal distraction. I was on Instagram all day, but it's super helpful to put that in anyway and just have that there so that when I refer back to this, I know exactly what I was doing. And when I do like my reviews and stuff, I know what I was doing. Okay, and then we come to the sort of daily pages, which are pretty good so far. The big question is like, will I be journaling in this notebook? Like how much of my life is going to be in this notebook? But I think I kind of want to try getting all of it into this notebook to just really test the system and see how much can be accomplished. So in this section, I'm going to be doing daily task lists. Gosh, I'm nervous about that because like the dailies just chew up pages in the back, but whatever, we'll see. Daily task lists, commonplacing / note-taking. This is again something that I don't like really do super hardcore, but I do kind of do it. Do those words have hyphens? I just don't know. I do kind of do it, and I'd love to have a more regimented system with it. And then I also want to do journaling. And so this is like daily journaling and tarot journaling and dream journaling. These are the 3 types of journaling that I do. And I know I've shown you guys before, I've shown you guys this notebook, which is a notebook therapy notebook that I do a lot of tarot and dream journaling in. But I find I'm not reaching for this very much because it just is in a separate place than my like standard main planner. So I would really like to be doing all of that in one book. So I'm going to give it a go. The other thing I want to make space for is reviews. So monthly, quarterly, weekly reviews. That is what I want to be generally doing. And these are going to be things like, what were my biggest accomplishments, biggest setbacks, what worked, what didn't, and then I also have like biggest joy, and then, well, okay, not really biggest joys, but like reoccurring joy and reoccurring pain, which I haven't been doing so far, but I'm going to do a big reset with those prompts now, basically. Okay, I think we have enough stuff to get moving. So step 1 is complete. Step 1 being writing out all the spreads in my planner and evaluating how I'm using them. The next step is going to be doing a reflection from quarter 1 and setting that up in my planner. And it's going to be like a page. I'm going to have to set up a spread. So I'm going to do that now. But I'm going to kind of switch around. Actually, as I'm facing this review, I'm going to kind of switch around what I'm doing. So monthly and / quarterly reviews are going to look like what were my biggest wins, what were my recurring joy, what were my recurring pain, and then next month action points. But my weekly reviews are going to be what worked / what didn't, and then brain dump for the next week. So because I am doing a quarterly review right now, and like all quarterly reviews will include a monthly review, will include a weekly review, but I'm going to just focus on the quarterly review for the sake of this video. So I'm going to lay that out in my planner. I really liked the way that I had it laid out in a previous bullet journal that I used. So I have that here. I have actually a blank one that I set up for a September long since past. So as you can see, I also had a tarot card of the month that I would also review. I'm not really doing that right now, so that may come, may not come. But the September review, this is what I want to keep in my purview, but it's going to say quarter 1 instead of September. So let me go ahead and set this up in the planner and see what sort of comes out of it. I'm going to go ahead and fill this out off camera, and I will be right back. Okay, so here I am after I've done the quarterly review. I've done accomplishments, reoccurring joy, recurring pain, and action points. I do these 3 sections first, and then I come up with action points based on what was making me happy that month, what was making me upset that month, and what I've already done. And action points can be anything super specific, or they can kind of be a vibe. Obviously, I think the phrase action points sets in mind something more specific, like I'm gonna do this thing, but some of these are just vibes and priorities. So like prioritize your health and your mental well-being, take breaks and build them in. One is like a priority guideline, and one is like an action point. I also have an action point to create an ideal weekly schedule that includes room for self-care, unstructured evenings, date nights and adventures, and YouTube. So I've also, while I was off camera, I also filled out the quarterly section. So this is what my quarter 2 page looks like. And this is basically, I'm gonna be tracking a few things over here on the side, and then what I'm gonna do here is essentially what I did last month, but I'm going to be writing priorities on the left and then accomplishments on the right. And this is gonna help me for my quarter, or my monthly reviews by writing accomplishments down here, and then help me for my quarterly reviews by writing accomplishments. So I really like that structure. I like having a dedicated place to at least check in one time for accomplishments. But as you can see, I've already written in my priorities, which are things like build in breaks, creating weekly and monthly systems and patterns to follow, and then prioritizing physical and mental health, and creating systematic and realistic approaches to YouTube, and also planning in advance. This one sounds silly because I am using a planner, but it got to the point last week where I was just like planning week to week, and I wasn't looking at any sense of big picture. And that was really problematic for me because I would come across weeks and I'd be like, look, I have to fit all this stuff in, but I really just need a break, but I wouldn't be able to get a break. And then I was doing the same thing week after week. So looking at my month as a whole or my quarter as a whole is going to be super impactful and important for me to do. Now over here on this side, what I'm doing here is I'm tracking several things related to my health, and I want to do this over a period of the next 3 months because I want to see patterns, especially as it relates to my cycle. So these are the loose things that I'm going to be tracking. Well, not loose, they're the literal things I'm going to be tracking in this section. And each of these has like a space where I'm going to be tracking it. The one thing that's not on here is weight. I want to track my weight and see how it fluctuates through the months and through my cycle, but I am not really sure how I want to implement it into this chart. So I'm just going to wait on that, and then I will add that in at the end of maybe April and see how it looks and see if I want to keep doing it. It might be just too much data for this section because this section is already going to have a lot of data. So what I wanted to do was I wanted to make them identical across the 3 months because I want to be tracking the same information across the 3 months so that I can see that pattern, like I was saying. And what I've done is I've created this like highlighted like you're good zone. And this highlighted you're good zone is where I want the majority of my dots to be for the majority of the time when I'm tracking my sleep, my energy, and my mood. Obviously, we all want super high energy. Obviously, we all want to have a great mood, but generally, I think we all want to have like fine in both of those areas. I'm not tracking specific moods like being angry or sad because I already have a place, like I have a mood tracker app on my phone that I use. That's where I'm going to be pulling most of this data from. It's just important to me to see the general flow of like, am I really good this week? Am I really bad this week? Am I really good when I start my period? Am I really bad when I end my period? You know, that kind of thing. I want to see those fluctuations as broadly as possible. So it's not really helpful for me to track specific moods in this dashboard. And then sleep, I have these numbers 6, 8, and 10 here on the side. This 8 is right in the middle of like the golden hour. block for me to get sleep. So I want to get between 7 and 9 hours of sleep per night. Again, in that like center spot is where I'm like, I'm good if I'm tracking things in that section. And then down here on the days and the weekdays, I'm going to be tracking my period and if I closed my Apple Watch rings. I've seen a lot of YouTubers track their Apple Watch rings on this sort of way. I think it's a really good idea and I would like to try it, so I'm gonna give it a shot. Of course, Apple Watch rings aren't like a perfect indicator of health, but it will give me a general idea of when I worked really hard during a particular day or month and how that affected my sleep, mood, energy, etc. So that is this section. For April specifically, I do have some goals, and these are more specific things than just priorities. So I want to be working out and taking care of my body. I am doing that right now, but I want to keep doing that. Solid skincare and body care routine. I want to complete my glow up. If you stay tuned for next week and watch my flip through of this planner for Q1, you'll know what I mean when I say complete my glow up. I have like a huge checklist. It's a mess, but I'm excited to do it because it's gonna, I think, make my life better in the long run because I'm gonna know a lot more about myself, which is gonna be really fun as well. And then I also want to do some spring cleaning. I really need to do some spring cleaning, which includes closet, especially closet. I'll never get rid of my tarot decks, but honestly, there are some crystals that I just do not need. I just don't use them. And lastly, I want to systematize YouTube, like down to a science. That is that for April. So the next step in resetting my planner for the new quarter is going to be to pre-plan. So a lot of the times with the monthly section, I will sit down at the beginning of a month and try to plan out the month, like just from day 1 to day 30 or day 31. And that really hasn't been working for me as like a method. I struggle to like think on a monthly basis, I guess. I don't really like measure time that way. I typically measure it by weeks. So instead of sitting down at the beginning of April and planning out all of April, I am going to sit down at the beginning of this quarter, which is what I'm doing now, and plan out the next 3 months. And hopefully what that is going to enable me to do is to just refer back to this whole section and see sort of what I've got coming up, when I can plan things in, when I can fit things in, instead of just saying, okay, well, I have April planned, but it's the end of April. Oh God, what's coming up in the next month? I have to set up a whole different month in order to just like see what's in the weeks ahead. I don't know if that makes sense, but this is going to be a kind of a key change that I'm making in my planner, and I'm curious to see how it goes. I think it will be good. So we're going to give that a shot now. I am going to be using a lot of sticky notes for this because things change and things move around, and I want to be able to plot things in without fear. I'm also probably going to be using my pencil a lot. This comes with like a little pencil, so that will also be at play here as well, just because this is a new thing I'm trying and I want to be able to move things around and erase things if necessary. Okay, so the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to actually block out my sprints, which I do every single month because this is just something that I do for work. So I'm going to go ahead and do that. But I am going to do, like I said, everything in pencil, just in case I don't like it, just in case I want to get rid of it. I'm also blocking off the weekends here because I feel like it gives the like page a little bit more structure. The font and text and lines and like the grid is quite faint in the common planner, and so I often find in the monthly section, it just, anything I write, like the text sort of disappears, the framework of the page sort of disappears, and I don't care for that. I would prefer like a darker text if it was, if I was making this decision. So hopefully she'll come out with a darker text planner next year, and that would be really great. But if not, it's not a big deal because I can just write in my structure in this manner instead. Okay, and the first thing I'm going to write in, and this is like one tip if you want to start planning cyclically more, but always find it difficult to remember when you're supposed to do things, is during your quarterly plan out the next time you will quarterly plan. So I'm going to go ahead and take a sticky note. I know that I'm going to need to quarterly plan some way halfway through this month-ish, because at that point I will be looking ahead to July. So I'm going to go ahead and take my sticky note here and I'm going to say quarterly plan for Q3. And I'm going to say I want to do that this weekend. So on the 17th, okay? I'm going to say I want to do that weekend. And that's just going to give me enough time to be able to collect my thoughts and prep for the following quarter. Cool. So then there's also some travel that I have to be conscious of, especially in June. So on the last week of June, I am going to be going on a camping trip. I'm not quite sure of the days yet, so I'm not going to block it in. Camping trip is happening this week-ish. I think we're leaving on the 28th, but I'll just put it on the 27th there. And then I will need to plan for said camping trip. Oh, you know what is actually I'm going to do? This yellow color, I'm actually going to use as like plan/pack for camping trip. I'm going to do that this weekend. And then instead of doing the yellow color, I'm going to go ahead and get like this blue color. And this is going to be marking dates. That's going to go there. Okay, cool. So that way when I come back to this and scan, all of the yellow is stuff that I have to do and all of the blue is stuff that I am doing, if that makes sense. So these are tasks that are going to be in my to-do list somewhere. And this is an event. Yes, that makes sense. It's helpful to me actually to like plan this backwards. And if you see me on my computer, I'm just looking at my calendar as well to make sure that I don't miss anything. Okay, so the 21st is the summer solstice. I want to do some sort of day off for that. Like I want to have a special day. I think I could probably, if I wasn't taking up so much time off for my camping trip, I could probably take that day off. So I'm going to... with a yellow sticky note, I'm just gonna say, maybe I'll say like day off ? And then the yellow will be like plan summer solstice, and then I'm gonna put that like on this sort of like weekend section over here, because I will need to do that if I'm taking that day off, or if I end up doing my summer solstice activity on the weekend following. The 18th is a Father's Day. Okay, my sticky note solution is becoming like a little bit sketchy right now. I will be seeing my dad in like 2 weeks, so maybe I do like breakfast with my dad. Okay, so this weekend I am going home. So I'm going home for my grandma's birthday. Okay, cool. And I have a concert on this day. I'm gonna go ahead and just rip that off. Okay, so June is actually looking like really, really busy, which is fine. It's fine. So this is actually really helpful because it's telling me like, actually for these weekends, like I have a lot going on in June. So maybe I do take an extra day off just to plan. Extra day off. Okay, on to May. Backwards into May. This weekend is my mom's birthday weekend. So I'm going to go ahead and write in Mom's Day. And then we are thinking about hosting like a little get-together on Memorial Day at our place, so maybe I'm just gonna put roof because it would probably take place on our roof. And I know this may seem like a waste of paper to do like a bunch of sticky notes instead of just writing it on the day, but this is helping me. This is good for me. So it's making me feel like I can just put stuff down without fearing that I will need to be, using whiteout or something later in my planner, which I don't want to do. Oh, it's also my cat's birthday in May. That's cool. That's fun. Okay, the 12th is our commencement. So I work at a university, so when students graduate, it's like an all hands on deck effort, which means I have to be in the office probably all week. So this is going to be a really time consuming week. I'm not going to have a lot to do before this week. So because I know that, on the weekend before, I'm going to plan to do a prep weekend, everything for the 8th through the 12th. So this is like no skips on meal planning, no skips on doing my chores. I need to have everything done for this week because I'm going to be like spending an extra like 6 hours of my week in cars and stuff as I go back and forth from work. So I definitely don't want to like miss anything and have to do it after work because that's just not going to happen. And then after that, I'm going to plan in a rest day. Might be Saturday, might be Sunday. I'm going to put it on Sunday tentatively for now because I'm not sure. Also, Breath of the Wild is a video game that I love, and the second one is coming out sometime in May. Okay, that's coming out on the 12th. Okay, perfect. Actually, that's so perfect. So rest day / Breath of the Wild weekend. Actually, that sounds like really, really wonderful. And then we're back in April, which is this month. So one thing I will block out right away is at the beginning of this month, we need to be super COVID safe because we have a family member who has a pre-existing condition, so he's quite sensitive to COVID. So I'm going to go ahead and block off those dates. Okay, cool. And so in April, I'm not being as precious about writing everything on sticky notes because, first of all, I'm actually already a week into this month. I'm filming this week, so I know the shape of what my month is going to look like and everything like that. So yeah, so it's not I don't need to be as precious. I'm just gonna create like a little bracket there so I know when it starts and ends. So I'm just gonna write COVID safe time. Okay, that's that. And then this weekend I am starting to care for some kitties. My friend's cats need some care, and so I'm gonna help them out. I'm just gonna go ahead and do that. And then also that weekend I am starting to care for a few more cats, which is gonna be really fun. My friends, my neighbors actually are just like going out of town, so I'm gonna see a lot of cats this week, and that's gonna be great. All right, cool. I kind of don't like that this is the same color as this. Maybe I'll just make one of these darker. I'll make the COVID safe time darker. Yeah, that looks good. I love that this marker is buildable because it just means that I can do stuff like this and I don't need to carry around like different shades of gray. I can just do it with one. Cool, that's awesome. There we go. Does that bleed very much? No, it doesn't bleed at all. Great. Let's see. The 20th is going to be a full moon. What I'd like to do for the new moon is I typically do like cleansing rituals and stuff around the new moon. So I'm going to just write like cleanse, space, and donate. The 6th was, I'm filming this after the 6th, but it was a full moon in Libra. So I'm going to go ahead and just note that down. Oh my gosh, what is Libra's little sign? Okay, it doesn't have anything to do with a line that I just made, but we're gonna salvage this. Nailed it. I would have loved to do something on the full moon in Libra, but I just didn't, and I am kind of upset about it, but it's fine. Maybe I can do like a tiny little ritual this weekend. So other things that I want to get done with this month, I'm gonna go back to my quarterly planning page. I want to take care of my body. I want to do skincare, complete my glow up. So I'm gonna write that down. I'm just gonna write, it's gonna be like a tasks thing. Complete glow up. Basically like outfit analysis and closet clean out. Those are majorly next on my list. And then I also want to figure out, let me look back at my glow up list. Okay, cool. So I think I'm doing everything there. I would love to do like hair care, like just like start a routine. Doesn't have to be complicated, but I'd love to just start a routine. So I'm gonna go ahead and have that be that. Then I want to content. Oh my gosh, am I losing ink in this? I'll cry. Content plan for quarter 2. That's going to be a big one. And do some light spring cleaning. Cool. So I'm going to put this back on April and call that good. So now there is like also a weekly schedule that goes along with this that I'm going to need to do. Like I'm going to fit in my chores somewhere. I'm going to fit in like going on dates somewhere. I'm going to fit in all that kind of stuff. But what I'm not going to do now is like intimately plan those details because I don't really know what they are. And I don't really know, like, I know kind of the rituals that I have, but that may change. I have my holidays planned out. I have moved around scripting and filming and stuff like that so that I can make my vacation days work. And I have thoughts. I have thoughts for at least for June and for April. I'm feeling really good about this. I'm feeling quite happy with the way that this looks. I think eventually what I'm going to do, probably at some point off camera, is I'm probably going to like actually write these things in and then do sort of the Sterling ink trick. If you've ever seen any of her planning videos, where what she does is for the week of, she writes like task lists over here. So I'm probably going to do something like that. I'll write like, this is a scripting day, and then I'll write like the specific videos that I want to script, stuff like that. Or I'll, this is going to be a prep weekend, so I'll write the like specific things I want to prep. So that's going to be sort of my next step, but that's going to come later. This is just broad strokes, big picture, and sort of figuring out where where the big things need to go. And I feel like I did that, which is great. So I think the last step in my resetting my planner for Q2 is going to be creating an ideal weekly spread. Basically what that means is I want to be thinking about what I'm planning in the weekly, what I'm using the weekly for, and then also just what my weeks should be looking like on a regular basis. So tasks I should be completing every single week, times that I should be holding every single week for things like date nights or personal time, times I should be holding every week for workouts. Unfortunately, right now, I don't have all the information for my weeks that I would need to have in order to plan out that week. But I can say that I'm not going to be using the sleep tracker on the sidebar anymore. And I'm probably not going to be doing this much anymore up at the top. I'm going to try to fit the gym workouts or the yoga workouts or whatever I'm doing that week, like in line. I have been waffling back and forth on whether or not I want to do that. I've liked having it up at the top, but also putting it in my schedule actually says, okay, I'm actually going to do that at that time. And that's just a stronger commitment to myself than just putting it at the top of the day and saying I'll get to it when I get to it. Those are the two major changes that I think I'm going to make. I do need to evaluate my weekly schedule and make sure I'm building in like rest time for myself, and sort of analyze when I feel the most burnt out and when I need to plug in sort of productive stuff. So I'm not going to do that on camera here. I will be making a video about creating an ideal weekly schedule at some point. So if you're not subscribed already, please subscribe down below and I will be posting that soon. But yeah, besides that, thank you so much for hanging out with me. I know this was a really long video. I hope you got something out of it, or I hope you got to set up your quarter with me here on camera. It can feel sort of indulgent to just like go through my plans and like have you guys watching me set up my months and stuff, but I hope you guys got something out of it and that like seeing someone else do this sort of work in their planner made you feel inspired to be able to do something like this in your planner or in your life or in your to-do list app, whatever you use.
Once again, thank you so much to Skillshare for sponsoring this video. Again, the first 1,000 people to click that link in my description box will be able to get a 1-month free trial of Skillshare. Let me know what courses you guys take or what courses you have liked down in the comments below, and I will talk to you down there. If you want to stay on this wavelength, I have another super beautiful video right by my head over here that you can check out, or you can follow me on Instagram. I'm at Rachel in Theory over there, and I will talk to you guys soon. Bye.